Hi, this is Jennie Walker, and welcome to Closet Conversations. Tonight's episode, I'd like to talk about my recent experience with Thredup. Thredup is a company that I found out about a year or so ago. I've been enjoying all of the things that I've been able to buy off of Thredup for resale. And I guess about 6 months ago, I'm thinking it was maybe 8 months ago, they changed their platform to include luxury consignment. And once they did that, everything really changed on the platform. And where I used to be able to find just incredible bargains, those days are gone. So it's no longer the big secret that resellers are out there buying from. It's now trying to compete on the level of a Real. They're a huge e-commerce company growing by leaps and bounds. But I've experienced both sides of them, never as a consignor, although I was tempted at one point. But all of the things that I read were very negative about the levels that they paid when you just sold them your clothes. So I figured I could do better on my own. But they've started this consignment, and in the beginning, you could have been in a free trial where you got 100% of whatever it sold for. I was tempted to participate in that, but in the end, I just didn't trust the bag that they sent. It was this fabric bag with a zipper, and I don't know. I'm having a hard time imagining this bag going through the post office, and you just secured it with a little drawstring, like not a drawstring, one of those plastic ties. And I just was never confident that my luxury items would do well in the mail in that, because it wasn't in any type of box, and so I just never sent it in. But anyway. My most recent experience was one purchasing for resale off of Thredup, and I bought 3 very, what I'd call expensive for resale. I mean, these are not, $5 Goodwill items. There was over, in the hundreds, plural, of dollars for the pieces that I was interested in buying. And so, I purchased 2 Alexander McQueen pieces that were from the time when Alexander McQueen was still alive. They're actually from a line that I actually own personally, that I bought for myself at Saks Fifth Avenue in New York. I bought this beautiful black wool jacket with gold, zippers, and matching black wool pants with gold zippers, and this amazing black wool skirt with zippers all the way around it, and black leather zipper pulls at the end of each one. It's really extraordinary, and I don't fit in it anymore, and it's just lovingly hanging in my closet. But I do know that year and that particular line is very highly sought after by stylists and people that are reselling luxury items. So when they had one of the skirts online and one of the jackets, and the jacket came in a couple of styles, and this was this was a style that I didn't buy that has just a more incredible zipper details on it, with almost like a little zipper peplum, if you will, on the sides. It's just incredible. So anyway, they described them as new with tags, and I saw them really quickly, and it was just like, there it was, the jacket and the skirt, they matched. It said both new with tags. Click, click, bought that. And then, as you know from previous episodes, that I collect vintage Moschino, and they had a super rare piece new with tags on there, and I bought that as well. So I was so excited to get the items in the mail, and I ripped it open very quickly. And I started looking at these pieces, and what's interesting, the Moschino piece, which I had least amount of hope for being amazing, was absolutely just jaw-droppingly perfect. It is museum quality. It is new, never worn with tags. Everything is fresh, and the lining is very, obviously it's never been worn. The lining is stiff and unique, and then the outside of the item is just, they use a lot of acetate. Perfectly beautiful white with a peplum, red, white, and green piece with covered buttons. Anyway, that was amazing, right? But then the Alexander McQueen pieces were a big fat disappointment, and I'll tell you why. One is, as I looked at the pieces, it was clear that they had been through something. And by the time I got done examining, it was clear that were from an outlet clearance place. They both had new price tags on it, and I think they're Neiman Marcus tags, and it's the kind of tag where you can tell from the way the tag looks. It had probably 3 sale tags on top of one another, and then the person has just peeled off those sale tags just to leave the glue marks, and then the original tag price on the jacket, and the same thing with the skirt. That I didn't mind. But the problem is, it's full of lint. It's just it looks like it's been wadded up in a trash bag or something. But anyway, I opened it up, and inside the jacket, the lining was ripped, and then there was stress marks on the lining where it looks like someone wore it. But that's not even the worst part. The worst part is, to me, is on the inside of the tag that has usually the brand tag, not the brand tag, but that tag that has the fabric contents. When you're in the outlet malls, they write on the inside the price of the garment, so that in case someone has taken the tags off, that this was originally, XYZ price, usually, 75% of the original or more at the outlet mall. So each piece, the jacket had the red numbers written on the inside of a certain price. And then on the skirt has a leather band that's attached at the waist, and the rest of it's wool with the zippers. And where the hangers were on the skirt, the stress of the hangers had the leather flaking off both sides of the skirt, really bad on one side where it's like gray, like you can see the gray underneath the black leather. And then again, the skirt had the numbers of the clearance price written on the inside. And, it's heartbreaking because this is a beautiful, beautiful piece. But, it's probably both pieces were 2 to 3 times as much as I'd seen them on the Real. The difference is they said new with tags. So I'm like, I'm willing to pay a little more because they're new. And that's, kind of the goal as a reseller, particularly these designer brands, is when you can find them new and never worn. And they're out there. They're out there a lot more than we realize. Then you can get more for the item, and people just love the thought that no one has worn it before. So all that said, I just looked at this madness and hugely disappointed in both of them. So tonight, before this podcast, I started my return on Thredup, and they want to charge me $1.99 for restocking fee on both those items. So you're looking at, you basically rounded up $2 and $2. That's $4 plus almost $9 label. So that's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Let's just round it up to $15 for the opportunity to examine something. That's it's a lot of money. So I am disputing the restocking fee by writing in detail why these things, that they're damaged, and hopefully they will waive that. And the shipping fee, the almost $9, is as good as I could probably do on my own and a lot more convenient. And because I want my money back, I'm paying that fee. If I just wanted a store credit, they would return it for free. But I'm not going to give them hundreds of dollars, even though one day I might use them again and probably will, but I'm not going to do that. So yeah, just hugely disappointed. And, when I went back and I read the descriptions for both items, nowhere does it say the lining's ripped or there's stress or that the leather is flaking. It's completely not even included. It just says new with tags. And to me, that points to the kind of volume they're doing. And they're just doing so much volume that they are not taking the time to look at things the way that they should. And I've had other problems with them. I've mostly had perfect experience. So when I talk about these few little problems, it in no way means that I would not shop on Thredup. I love Thredup. I absolutely adore them. And it's just another wonderful resource that's out there where you can find things. And when you're Googling for things that you're looking for, you might see a eBay listing, a Poshmark listing, all these listings. But Thredup is not one that I'm seeing right now, which means I'm going to have to go to their store individually online to look and search for what I want. And over time, I'm sure that will change. But But for now, that's kind of the way it is. But my other bad experience was I had bought a Louis Vuitton cosmetic case, and I'd gotten a push notification because I follow a number of brands on there, and you get an email once a day, approximately 5 o'clock Pacific time, on things. And so there was this item that I wanted, and of course everyone else is getting a push notification. So by the time you respond, 9 times out of 10 it's in someone else's cart. So you can click to be notified, or you can click to just buy it immediately if it becomes available. So I looked at this thing, I thought, oh, this is perfect. I don't even need to see it. I've been wanting one. I'll just put buy automatically. So I got the notice that I bought it automatically. But when it came in the mail, and now again, I'm in luxury consignment. I'm selling Louis Vuitton all day long. But I can tell you in 2 years, not one makeup bag has come in my store. So for me, the opportunity to buy it on Thredup, made sense. And I'm not afraid to buy used anything with so many years in this industry. So I got it, opened it up. The inside was just shredded. I mean, it was, I'm just going to say, it was nasty on the inside. That's just the only word for it. I was just horrified. And then I looked at it, and it was an obvious fake. And the real ones this does not happen to the real ones. And so I sent it back, and I said, you should refund my shipping because it's fake. But of course, in the volume of all of that, they did not refund my shipping, and I didn't have the energy to follow up about it. So I just let it go. But it was fake. And what's interesting is that I went back to the listing and I looked at it, and nowhere do they have a picture of the inside of this cosmetic case. And if anybody had seen the inside, first of all, I wouldn't even have listed it. But had they seen the inside, I guarantee you no one would buy it. And I certainly wouldn't have bought it. And the other part is, why are they selling something that's an obvious fake? So this company, in particular, Thredup, is not touting themselves as the authenticity expert the way that the Real does. That is not something that they claim to be the expert, the authority, that they're doing all of that. But one would assume, even though they're not making those statements, that they absolutely must have people on board that are checking things out. And to me, if they are, this one, slipped right on by, but I don't know how. It was pretty bad. So yeah, that was my other disappointment. But other than that, before all of that, I have had nothing but fabulous good luck. And again, before they started consignment, before the whole world knew about them, and even more people will know now that I'm talking about it, it was really quite a wonderful secret. And I was buying all kinds of incredible things. And really, the prices were much better than the Real. I mean, they were just amazing because they weren't focused on designer. So when the designer would come in, it wasn't priced high at all. It was very moderately priced. So now that their focus has shifted and they realize they've been leaving money on the table with this stuff, you don't get to find it in that way anymore. But what you do find is, if you know what you're looking for and to find it at all at any price, I mean, that's where Thredup is amazing. And this Moschino jacket that I bought, this is over $1,000. I mean, this is probably, I saw the same jacket on First Dibs for $14.95, I think, or $12.95. So it's over $1,000 jacket. It's mint, it's museum quality, and all of that. And I paid a fraction of that. So I am just thrilled to think that I was able to discover that and find that on Thredup. And I have found a number of pieces by Moschino on Thredup that I've been able to resell at very high margins for myself. And in doing so, spending a lot of time with the Moschino brand, I've been able to get a feel for how much is someone actually willing to pay, because it might be listed $14.95 on First Dibs, but nobody's paying that. So, what is the realistic price for some of this? And anything over $1,000 is going to have to be something pretty extraordinary, I've learned, regardless of what they're saying online. And the realistic prices, I have sold several Moschino jackets for in the $800 and $900 range, $700 range for a number of them. The cheapest one I think so far was like $400. Dresses I've sold $600, and to me that's a lot. That's a lot of money for something like that, and it just goes to show that when the design is powerful and is relevant and is super unique, people are willing to pay. They're not going to pay me $1,200 for that dress they paid $600 for, and this is the point. They're not going to pay $1,500 for that jacket. Maybe they'll pay me $9. But in going through this process, I'm learning really what's realistic to actually sell the vintage Moschino and not just stare at it. So, although as we know from other podcasts, I'd be quite happy just to stare at all of this. So that's just a little bit on Thredup. If you have not checked them out, I think you would love them. It's Thredup, THREDUP.com on the web. Highly recommend you set up push notifications to be alerted when things come up by your brand. But my tip would be, if push notifications coming out at 5 Pacific time, you best get on there before 5 o'clock if you want an opportunity to see those items before every other person who's getting that notification. And I actually go on Thredup all the time. Same thing with Real. I don't wait at that moment of the push notifications or just before. Even though I do that many times, is that I also go in at really odd times just to look around, because things are always getting pushed in to those sites, and so you just never know what you're going to find. And that's it. So that's my experience. Jennie Walker with Closet Conversations, with my most recent experience on Thredup. If you like this podcast, please give it a 5-star rating. I'd love to hear your comments and reviews. That'll keep this podcast relevant and high in the search rankings. I am on all social media if you'd like to be in touch. I am Jennie Girls Claus on Instagram and Poshmark. I'm also Jennie Girls Closet on eBay. I'm on Facebook, and have a website by the same name. Feel free to reach out to me with any questions, or if I can help you with anything, you have any topics for the podcast, it'd be my pleasure to respond to you. Until next time.